Hey y'all, it's Cameron. Just before we get into the podcast here, I know you just heard the ad, but I just want to let y'all know that there's a few Windows notification sounds and a few Discord notification sounds throughout. And I apologize for that. I'm doing my best to take them out in post, but honestly, I don't want to cut parts of Paper Engineer's story that are really cool or different things that are really interesting. So you might hear those. I do apologize. My computer's been bugging out a little bit since I've been home. I have to kind of fix it and do a few repairs, but hopefully Logan will help me with those soon, and we'll be all good. But I just wanted to apologize. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to take them out of post. But yeah, enjoy the episode, and again, apologies for that little inconvenience there. Hopefully, it won't be too much of a distraction. But either way, I hope you enjoy the podcast. And if you hear my sister and my new puppy in the background of this recording right here that I'm doing in post production, well, new puppy's kind of annoying. But she's cute, so it's okay. Have a good one and enjoy the podcast.
You are now entering Now Chat.
Awesome. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to our podcast.
How's it going?
We have today with us Cameron, Rex, James, Blair, Kenny, Caleb, myself, Dylan, as well as the one and only, our special guest for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Not your average guarding gnome. He is your grandpa. Ladies and gentlemen, the paper engineer from Tik Tok.
Thank you.
Woo!
You're welcome.
Hello there.
Is that a pretty good intro?
No.
Was
I
that
thought it was
pretty
great?
Nice, awesome, cool. So, real quick, how I met the paper engineer was I was on TikTok scrolling. So how I met the paper engineer was going through TikTok one day, and I was on lives, and he was live, and he was making something with paper, and I thought it was very interesting, being a creative person myself. So I reached out to him and asked him if he would love to be a guest in our podcast. And here we are with him chilling with us right now. So, but the funny thing is, though, is I didn't tell anybody here any backstory, anything about the paper engineer, because I got a taste of it with a phone call with him one day. He was chatting about his backstory and everything, and I just thought it was so crazy and so interesting that I kept it from all of you to hear it tonight, because this will blow your mind.
Yeah, we keep on hearing things about it, like not directly like information, but Dylan seems pretty excited, so we're I'm
pretty
excited to hear.
I have them hear what you told me, the paper engineer, about your whole thing. Also, remember when I talked to you about my friend Blair?
Yes.
Uh-oh, you talked about me?
I did talk about you, Blair. Paper engineer, would you like to say where you're from?
Washington State.
Are you serious? Why are all the special guests from Washington? Y'all are like... Wait, where, can I ask where in Washington?
Yeah, I live in Rochester.
Okay. I grew up in Kirkland, so that's pretty far, I think.
Yeah.
You know where
but,
Kirkland is?
You want to hear a real funny story about Kirkland?
Yeah, sure.
I back in the 80s, I had a ladder break and I fell 3 stories onto frozen ground in Kirkland by the Turtle, I think it was, and bounced like a rubber ball, broke my leg, did all kinds of nasty stuff.
Jeez. Yeah, I wasn't alive in the 80s, but that sounds like a great story.
You know, I don't think I conceived Dylan yet.
I'm
Kenny?
also not your average fossil.
That's true. So, paper engineer, not your average garden gnome. I'm just gonna call you paper engineer because I think that's how everybody
that's
knows
cool.
you, and that's what you're doing. You're starting the paper army. Is that correct on TikTok?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, yes. And I, when I tune into your lives just to say, hey, how's it going? I see the community on there, and it's so welcoming, and I see everybody takes inspiration from you, and it's just a nice, cool paper army community you got going on there. That every time I check in, it's just so crazy how I've seen you grow as well. Just checking in for 5-10 minutes or whatever. It's crazy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love the people in the paper army. We're human beings from the human race. We're not gay, we're not black, we're not white, we're not German or Russian or Chinese or nothing. We belong to the planet Earth, and we're human beings on this planet. So, you know, I want the world to change one paper army person at a time into human beings in the human race.
I don't think anybody here can argue with that, right? I
No,
think that's pretty good. Yeah.
Very, very nice.
I mean, I think, yeah, very nice. I like, your whole message as well with the paper army too is nice. It's just, you're right. We all gotta be humans, and we all gotta be, you know, people. Not animals, savages, and this and that.
yeah, because we got plenty of savages on this planet, and they need help too.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I
Now,
tell everybody, come on, Putin, quit picking on your neighbors. You don't need to.
yeah, I think, haven't we mentioned that a little bit on the podcast, Cam?
Yeah, we've talked about Putin and the war with Ukraine just a little bit.
That sounds about right.
Just a little bit, yeah. But anyway, so the big reason, though, Paper Engineer, is why I brought you here was because of your backstory you told me over the phone. I thought was absolutely the most craziest story I ever heard. And seeing where you are today from that experience is mind blowing. It really is. So I'm gonna give you the floor, all right, for
Okay.
you to talk about, like I said, whatever you feel comfortable with about that whole situation. The floor is yours, Paper Engineer. Go at it.
Okay, and just to let you know, that is not the craziest story I have.
Wow. Well, I mean, to me, I thought that was the craziest one, but I would rather have you say this one first because this is what I was hyping everybody about.
Yes, we'll save the other story for another show.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay, fill you guys in on a little bit of what went on. I was into collectible toys for years. I had an antique shop, a collectible toy store, and I did gutter cleaning and maintenance. And I met this very beautiful woman, and I loved her very much. Name was Valerie. And she was an ordained minister. And the thing that was with that is that the cranksters found out about our inventory, and they couldn't steal it. And there was this guy, his name was George, brought over by a guy named Roy, said it was his father. And oh my goodness sakes. I found out 2 months later that it wasn't his father. It was just some guy he was beating up and stealing $2,000 a month out of his inheritance money. And so anyway, I kicked Roy off the property and kept George away from him. And because I stole $2,000 a month out of these cranksters' pockets, they started threatening to kill me and Valerie. And about 3 years later, they managed to kill Valerie. And about 45 days after that, I found out who did it. And unfortunately, I killed that man. And they put me in prison for 20 years. I did 20 years of prison one day at a time. But because I had known motorcycle hounds since Vietnam, I did okay in prison. I did 20 years and I never got in a single fight. And I just got out of prison 2 years ago and started my paper engineer little home business here at that point. And so it's a sad story because I love Valerie very much. I've been away from her now for 22 years. I do not have a girlfriend or anything like that because I still love Valerie. I'm stuck in 1999. And so it's a very, very challenging thing. A lot of the folks that know me on TikTok, they steer people away from the subject because they know that it affects me drastically. But I am here, and part of the healing, I think, in all of this is being able to live that and get past it. I believe I've done well. The first 5 years I was in prison was a total horror story, because here I am, a businessman, and I'm locked up with true criminals, and I'm not one. I never did a crime in my life. And when Valerie died, my heart broke and my brain broke. And it's something that I hope no one ever has to go through, because when you take another human's life, it changes your brain. And you can't fix that. It's like if you broke a gear in your car, until you take the transmission out and repair that gear, it's never right. And I can't operate on my brain. And so I have a part of my brain that is broke that'll never be right. So there's a heck of a story for you. And I will answer any questions you have, because I don't hide from what happened. And I have everybody on TikTok, all my 26,000 followers know the same thing. And I've only been on TikTok for 5 months.
5 months and you've grown that much? That is
Yes.
absolutely unbelievable. That is truly amazing to hear that. That is crazy.
Yeah, I know. My grandson told me when I got onto TikTok, he says, Grandpa, we got to get you on TikTok. And I go, what the heck is a TikTok? He goes, well, it's a social site. And I said, okay. He said, but look, I've been on it 2 years. I have 2,000 followers. It's hard to get followers. I went, okay. And here it is, 5 months later, and I got 26,000 followers.
I mean, I will say, these guys are probably, and girls, sorry, Rex, are all the same feeling that I felt when I heard that story. Can I speak for all of you on that?
I cried. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
I mean-
that's wow.
I'm gonna tear up a bit.
Yeah.
20 years of prison? That's how long I've been alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say, yeah,
I
22.
haven't
crazy.
been alive that long.
99. I was born in 99. I'm 22 years old. So in that time, that's crazy. You got out when I was 20 years old. That is nuts.
Yeah, I went in when you were born.
Wow. Yeah, the guy that was talking about you beforehand,
Yeah.
says tell Mike we love him from some random quarter. He says
Thank
that.
you.
Love
I
Upper
love
Deck.
them too.
That's what he says. Love Upper Deck. So
Upper Deck. Here's a little cute story about Upper Deck. He was Upper Edge Gaming, and because of my dyslexia, I read it as Upper Deck, and so I was calling him Upper Deck for, I don't know, long time. And finally one day, him and my daughter were chatting, and she LOL, yeah, he's been calling you Upper Deck all this time. And he goes, yeah, I know, I'm Upper Edge. And so he changed his name to Upper Deck.
that's great that you have people like that, to you know, get you through it. It's crazy, how things change and on a snap of your fingers, you know what I mean? It's just
Oh
it's just
yeah,
nuts.
I mean, it did for me.
Yeah.
I went from being a businessman for years to a prisoner,
Yeah.
and had to learn a whole new lifestyle overnight.
That's nuts. Now you did say you started your paper engineering in prison, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, I didn't tell these guys either about the other thing you told me, because I think everybody here has something in common for what you're about to say.
Okay.
Go
I
ahead.
am. I fought my case for 10 years. I was in the law library 3 days a week learning the law, and I was beat down by the court system so bad with all correct answers that I quit. I went 10 years. It was driving me literally crazy. And so I quit, and I started a lawsuit against the DOC for not cleaning our teeth. And I had filed all 3 grievances, level 1, level 2, level 3. And at that point in time, I was ready to start the court case. And I was getting ready to start the court case, and they shipped me out of state to the Minnesota prison in Appleton, Minnesota, which killed the lawsuit. I was stuck out of state. Sorry, I have false teeth, and every once in a while, my teeth get in the way, and I can't speak. And so anyway, when I got back from out of state, I made custom jewelry. Before I left state, when I got back from out of state, they closed the jewelry shops. So I was bored, just absolutely stupid. And one day I saw a stack of Star Wars books on one of the tables. And I knew what it was. I played RPGs. And so I walked over and I said, "What are you doing?" And the guys went, "Oh, we're playing Star Wars RPG game." And I went, "Oh, cool. Can I play?" And they went, "Sure." And so I sat down and they were pushing a little piece of cardboard. It wasn't even cardboard. It was like a half-inch square of cereal box. And they were pushing it around on the table. And I said, "What's that?" And they went, "It's our Millennium Falcon." And in my head, I went, "No, it's not. It's a piece of paper." Oh my God. And so I didn't say nothing because I'm new to the game. I didn't want to, make them mad or nothing. But we what?
Oh no, nothing.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so
Good.
we play Monday through Friday after work. And then on weekends we didn't play because you go to church and you play basketball, football, stuff like that. And so I went up to my cell and I had a macaroni and cheese box. So I ate the macaroni and cheese and I built a little paper Millennium Falcon out of the box. And so Monday, when we started to play the game, I had it in my pocket, and the guys went to get juju beads and honey buns and cocoa, coffee, stuff like that for the game. And while they left, I was sitting at the table. I took the Falcon out of my pocket and I put it on the board. And they came back and literally flipped out. It took us an hour to start the game because they're busy passing my Falcon around, looking at it, going, "Oh my God, you made this out of paper. Oh my God, you made it out of paper." I went, "Sure." And that was Monday. On Friday, one of the guys asked me, they said, "Can you make more?" I went, "Sure." And so I made six X-Wings, Squadron X-Wings, Slave One. And then I proceeded to make an entire toy box that I made full of toys out of paper. I have probably 45 or 50 micro machines that I also show on my TikTok channel. And now I've got over 95 pieces. I have a Star Destroyer that is 3 feet long and has a what was it? What was my brain fries every once in a while, and I squirrel. Oh, that's something else. My daughter did that, and I said, "Don't worry, sweetheart. We own the squirrel train. I'll find you." It had over 11,300 pieces of singly cut pieces of paper to make my Star Destroyer, and it took me about 536 hours to make it.
Oh my gosh.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So is building things out of paper for you kind of like Legos in some way, but
Therapeutic?
out of paper, and also therapeutic as well? Yeah.
It could be therapeutic because when I'm building, I really don't think of anything else, but because I'm having to design everything from pictures. All right. So my paper abilities are not known on the planet. I'm the only one doing this other than the paper army. And I've got paper army people that are building some really, really cool stuff for my YouTube channel. And so, yeah, it's kind of therapeutic. What was the other question? The first one.
Oh, I said, is it kind of like building
Legos.
yeah, Legos with the
No.
paper? No, it's
Nope.
not. Okay.
Absolutely not.
It's completely
Yeah. Here's something that's kind of cool. The Star Destroyer. In a very, very rudimentary way, it was kind of like Legos because I had to build modular blocks from a half an inch square to a half an inch by maybe an inch long, and every modular block all the way around the outside of that Star Destroyer had to be different from every one. And that's why I called it a nightmare build, because after you make 10,000 pieces, how do you keep making 10,000 more that don't replicate the 10,000 you already did? So and I have a Millennium Falcon and an X-Wing that actually works. It's spring-loaded, so the wings open and close by themselves.
That's
Hey.
really cool.
Yeah, my Sandcrawler has 8 sets of tracks that all work. Geez, the Tantive, the 2 escape pods are missing. where the droids escaped. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, if you get a chance, check out my TikTok videos. It shows a lot of them there.
So yeah, I've checked in a few times. I did see the Falcon, and I'm not even gonna try to say it because I butcher the first part all the time. So I was impressed that you said it the right way, and I can't even. So I'm not even gonna try it. um, but yeah, that is crazy that all. I mean, just everything. Like I think we're all in shock right now of what to say at this point. I mean, that's pretty nuts how everything happened at that point, and
Yeah.
that's pretty
Well,
cool.
I was nervous as hell, you guys. I mean, everybody was telling me, "You're gonna do okay. Just talk to him like you talk to us. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine."
I mean, hey,
And
you were. I mean, everything you did was phenomenal. It's like you've been doing podcasts forever, so it's that
and this is I'm a virgin podcaster, everybody.
Virgin podcast. That's a good. I don't think we've ever heard that before.
I have not heard that one.
No, I don't think we've heard that before. Dang.
Love that.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like when I heard all that, oh, tell them what the best Star Wars movie is, Paper Engineer.
The best Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
Well, okay, I got out of the Navy after Vietnam in '77, and Star Wars came out 2 weeks later, and I watched it 9 times before it left the theaters and went to the drive-ins. And before that, and to this date, I have never watched a movie more than once at the theaters ever. But since then, since I can't go back to '77, the next movie that came out that I really liked from Star Wars was Rogue One. I love the robot. I love the blind Jedi. The guy with the rotary cannon. Oh, that was insane cool. And I actually made the U-wing out of paper, and it functions just like the U-wing did in the movie. And so,
Seen it. I have seen that.
yeah, and so that is my favorite movie. And then we go to the series, The Mandalorian. Are you kidding me? And Grogu? Oh, geez, that was done so well. I about lost it when I saw that. I love The Mandalorian and the new year with Grogu and their little hot rod Naboo starfighter that they got. Oh my God, are you kidding me? That's going to be so cool. Oh, what else? What else? Oh yeah, The Bad Batch animated series. Those guys are nuts. I love them.
Oh my god, I love the Bad Batch. It's one
Love
of
the
my
Bad
favorite.
Batch.
Oh, it's so good.
I know. I can't wait till the next season comes out. Are you kidding me?
Oh.
They couldn't have filmed like 2 seasons and run them back to back.
I'm excited that I finished watching Clone Wars when I don't know, I watched the Clone Wars animated show when I was like rewatched it when they released the new season over quarantine, and oh my god, when I saw Bad Batch, it was just brought back memories. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so good.
I know. I love those guys.
What would you say your favorite Star Wars character is?
Favorite
From
Star Wars character?
from any of the movies, live action, cartoons, anyone.
Yeah, I'd have to go with the big robot on Rogue One.
All right. What was his name? Does anybody remember his name on there?
Oh, and I can't remember it either.
You know
The
what?
big blue guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Since I have my computer right here, let me look up Rogue.
I already got it up. It's
Of course
K2
you would.
or K2SO.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
K2SO. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should make that guy out of paper. That'd be pretty cool. Did you do that already?
No. I got here's. Oh, this is insane. One of my fans, because this gal came on early. Oh, geez, what was it? 4 months ago? Oh no, 5 months ago. Just went live, barely went live, and she goes, "Can you make a General Grievous?" And I don't do requests because I'm 6 months behind right now, and I wasn't sure then, so I said, "Yeah, well, yeah, I can do General. I think I can do General Grievous." And she said, "Would you please make a General Grievous?" And I went, okay. But I couldn't afford to buy one. I'm basically broke because it's hard to make a new business when you only make $800 a month on Social Security. It's rough. And so anyway, one of my fans went, "Oh, we're going to get you a General Grievous." I went, "Okay, thank you." Well, General Grievous got here the other day, and I went to all the people on TikTok and went, "Oh my God, I got good news and I got bad news." And they went, "Okay, good news, bad news. Good news first." And I showed them, I got General Grievous. Oh my God, I got General Grievous. And then I went, bad news. Oh my God, I got General Grievous. Oh no, now I got to build him. Oh, jeez. Everything moves on him. He's got 4 arms, legs, everything is ball joints, and there's no way to make paper do that. So now I've got a nightmare build that I have to build and figure out how to make everything work properly with there's no template at all for this, none, period. And nobody's ever done anything like this. No way. And so I'm going to have to design this entire build from the ground up.
Dang, that sounds like a project.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, I will say I tuned into your live just to see the General Grievous, and I actually had that same toy one when I was younger.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I had that same exact one when I was younger. I played with that one, so that's pretty cool. So have you ever thought about maybe just making it like a stationary statue of General Grievous with the 4 arms all extended out, like in the battle pose when he's fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I have thought about that. I did for a long time, trying to figure out whether I wanted to make him static or functioning.
Yeah.
And I've decided that I want to try and make him functioning rather than static.
So
If
you're
I
gonna
have
take the
to build him
challenge.
static, then I will.
Nice. So you're gonna take the challenge. That's nice. That's cool.
Yes. Shoot,
Nice.
I'm the paper engineer. If I can't figure it out, nobody can.
He ain't wrong there. He ain't wrong there. Jeez. Nice. So, well, with that being said, then I would like to open it up for questions from the other podcasters here. If anybody else has any questions about anything to ask him.
Absolutely.
How much time did you spend on like make or crafting things with paper in prison?
Well, I started in 2010. I would go to work in the morning and be off anywhere from 2:30 to 3:30, and then I would come back and start building. I think on all of my builds, I think I added them up one day because somebody asked me that on YouTube. I've got right around 6,000 hours into my builds that I
Right.
did in the Gray Bar Motel.
Wow,
Wow.
that's crazy.
6,000 hours. I don't
Yeah.
even think I have 6,000 hours in my Magic career.
Yeah, but the whole thing is that's over, a 10-year period.
That's fair. Yeah.
So if you divide that by 10 years, it's really not that bad.
Wow. Still though, 6,000 hours of coming up with things to make. I mean, that are also functional too. Like I heard the Y-wing or U-wing with the wings that
Yeah.
move, and the X-wing and the so like all that stuff that's movable as well too. I mean, that's
Yeah, and I had to design all that stuff because there's no books.
wow.
I made this hobby. I made this hobby. And
That
that's so I push myself because I want to be able to do stuff. I want other people to be able to do stuff, but it has to be doable. You can't make everything impossible to do.
yeah, yeah. We got a question actually from one of our listeners
Okay.
that asked, what was the first 24 hours of prison like? If you don't mind answering that.
No, I don't mind answering.
All right, cool.
Actually, it was kind of bizarre. All right, because here's the thing. First off, I went to intake. All right, now intake is Shelton prison system, and uh, it was to me just another day. All right, I had been in the Navy during Vietnam. I didn't have to go fight or anything, but I was in the Navy. Ran into a lot of real tough guys. My best friends over there were SEAL team members coming back out of Vietnam, and I hung out with really tough guys my whole life. That's what I did. And then I get out of the Navy and I start hanging out with motorcycle people, bikers, because they didn't care. They called me out there. Girls would ask them, who's that guy over there? And they'd point to the sky and go, that's out there. Because I really didn't live on the planet. I lived out in space, but I lived here. And so then I knew bikers since forever. And so tough guys, okay, I've been around tough guys all my life. And so when I went to prison, I run into guys in the yard that I knew were motorcycle guys, and I hung out with them. So actually, I never had a hard time in prison.
I that's crazy. That's
It
cool.
kind of is.
I mean, there's no words to describe it. Like, I mean, it's crazy also because all of us here, all of the podcasters right now are young. We're in our 20s and teens.
Right. And I'm
hearing this
68.
and hearing this coming from an older gentleman that has experience in life that, you know, majority of us here have not gone through, it's an eye opener for us, and that's why I think some of us are a lot starstruck from this, and kind of like, you know, it's just crazy to hear this come from somebody that lived this. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So,
And I hope, and pray, because I have great faith in God. I mean, outstanding. And that's a whole different story. That's a crazier story than this one we're talking about right now. Anyway, I hope that none of you ever have to go through what I did. If you are not extremely tough in your mind, you can't make it.
wow, I think that's good quote for anybody out there that that listens to this. You know, I think this is a really good, you know, that's nice. I don't know how to. Yeah, somebody from the chat just said it really is an incredible story, and that was very profound advice. And he says
Oh,
that
cool.
he loves that quote. So
Excellent. He can use it.
there you go. You're allowed to use that quote now for whoever sent that in.
Absolutely. And everybody in the paper army knows the same thing. What you guys are hearing from me right now, that's the way I am everywhere. If you run into me on the street and somebody, one of my close friends, the Diamond Hustler, she goes, "What are you gonna do if somebody comes up to you on the street and they say, Grandpa, Grandpa?" I said, honestly, I'll probably pee my pants.
That's pretty funny. Have you ever gotten that yet so far? Have you ever gotten some fan interaction outside of
One
social media?
one time at the
One
toy
time.
show. Yes, at the toy show, the Kent
Wow.
Commons toy show. Um, one of our people came up to me because I told everybody, I said, if you come up to me on the street or actually at the toy show and say, Grandpa, Grandpa, you get the #1 autograph. And
Wow.
had one person come up to us in the toy show and went, Grandpa, Grandpa. And I went, winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
he got a signed autograph for me, and it's signed #1.
Wow. The very first person. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, whoever, if that person's listening or on your TikTok live right now or listens to this podcast somewhere down the line, you are a very lucky person. That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. I mean, I for one, like I said, this hearing it again still starstrucks me, you know, and I can't
Well, thank
imagine
you.
what these other podcasters felt when they heard it for the first time, you know. So it's just like it's very I don't know James, would you say it's motivational in some way?
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think one of the coolest things, and you know, I think you see this sometimes in people, and I think it's a beautiful thing. And I think you're an excellent example of this. Is um, like people go through hard things, and what I've noticed a lot is people who go through the hardest things tend to have like the best hearts, like the softest hearts. And like I haven't seen a ton of your stuff, but I can just hear it. I love your laugh, your like small chuckles and everything, and like you just have a very warm presence, and it's something that I love hearing and seeing. And especially with people who have tough stories, and it's it's always, you know, heartwarming to hear, and I always love those stories, and I always appreciate hearing them.
Thank you.
It's a good comeback story, you know, of going through a hard time in life, you know, doing, you know, going through crazy things in time in life, and then here you are now making things out of paper in your little shed with 26,000 people watching you. You know what I mean?
Yes. I'm called the phone show.
Oh yes, I heard you call it that before. Your little phone show is what you call it.
Yeah. And
That's
I'm
awesome.
by myself. I do the phone show. I've got I've got 26 people on right now that are listening intently to what's going on. Um, we're Paper Army strong, and which is really cool. And people, I had somebody come on the other day, and they said, "Well, Paper Army, and you're American, and what do you, what?" And I said, "Hey, look," I said, "we're the Paper Army because somebody on TikTok said that the very first video I put out. They said, 'Thank you for letting me join the Paper Army.'" And I said, "Dude, that's so cool. I'm going to use it." And we are the only paper army on the planet. We don't believe in guns and knives and rocks and sticks and all this other stuff that can hurt you because we're good people. We're good hearted people and we care. It's like my friend Bert and Amanda and everything that's going on. Oh, Amanda, can I tell them about your little fan moment? Can I please? Please? Come on. I got to wait for her to answer because I don't want to tell it unless she says I can. Because I don't do that. You know, if somebody says, "Hey, please don't do that," I don't. It's one of those kind of things, and I make sure that I don't ever do that. And I don't know if she's on or not. I don't know. But I might have to save that story for later.
So what is her name on there? Just Amanda?
No, she's called the Diamond Hustler.
Oh, the Diamond Hustler.
Yeah.
I have seen her in here before. I think her and I chatted a few times, once or
Yes,
twice
she's
in
a
the chat.
really cool gal. She's got 3
Nice.
kids, husband, and, she has a little jewelry business on Facebook, and I
Oh,
love going to her little jewelry shop and watching all the stuff that goes on.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, it says that she looks like, yeah, she's in your stream. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
nice.
she says, "Yeah," so I can actually tell it. Okay. She sends me her phone number because she's trying to help me, fix my, um, um, link tree, stuff like that. And so, because I don't, technologically speaking, I'm behind the curve by 20 years. And so, anyway, and she gives me her phone number and she says, "Well, if you need some help, call me." And so, being me, I get on the phone, I call her, and she answers the phone and she goes, "Oh, just a minute, I'll call you back." Oh, this is so cute. Anyway, and so about 5 minutes later, she calls me back and we get to talking. And she said, "I'm sorry I cut you off, but I had a fangirl moment." She had a friend over and she goes, oh my God, it's the paper engineer. It's the paper engineer." And her friend goes, "Who? What?" And she took her to the site and showed her, but she did. She had a fan moment. She said, "I fangirled out." And that's when it started to really hit me that I got fans. Are you kidding me? I got fans.
Yeah, that's another, you know, that's a great feeling to have when you're able to spark that in somebody. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're doing something that you love. You're doing something that you have passion for, and when those people express that to you, you know, it shows that passion and stuff is paying off. It's crazy.
Yeah. And they calling me a legend. And I'm like, "What? I I'm not a legend. I'm just me." And they
And
go, "That's why you're a legend." Uh, okay.
yeah, well, we've thrown that around here a few times in the podcast, that term. But I think we can all agree, you are somewhat of a legend. It seems like. I mean, hearing those stories and everything you've been through and where you're at today. I mean, that is just, you know, it's literally a legend story. That's what it is. And I bet your story will go down in history. You know, it's just
It
so
might.
inspiring and so crazy. And the fact that
Yeah,
you got
it is
people,
that.
yeah, and you got people too that are willing to, you know, promote you and tell your backstory, and people still tune in, and it's just crazy how fast you're growing on this thing. It's cool. I
Thank you.
find it inspiring. I really do.
Thank you. And
So-
I'd like to do that for people. I can, because I talk about the one God. This is something that most people are missing. And because I've been religious my whole life, but I don't preach. But there are some things that I do put out there. And I kind of like, this is the way I explain it to the TikTok universe. I say, look, the Muslims believe in one God, the Jews believe in one God, the Christians believe in one God, and there's a bunch of other religions that maybe have under gods, but like Odin, all right, he's the main god. So everybody has a main god. So why the heck, because he's called something different, are we fighting over him? It's ridiculous.
And we did touch on religion at one point in our podcast, I believe, didn't we?
Yes.
I
I
remember.
believe it was 2 or 3
Yeah,
episodes ago.
2 or 3 episodes ago, we touched based on that a little bit, and I don't even think that did get brought up. I don't think we brought that up at any point.
Yeah, I've seen the girl on TikTok who's like she pretends like she plays like she does little skits and she plays the role of death and she's like, all right, so which god did you believe in again? And she takes them to different afterlives and it's a funny sketch, but it's got a real message behind it.
It
It's
does,
an interesting
yeah.
it's an interesting thing. Real. Oh.
Oh, go ahead, Kim.
I was gonna ask another a different, completely unrelated question. But you go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I was gonna say
Let's hear the unrelated question.
Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
So, you keep talking about like you went to work in prison, and I just have to know what was your job? Like, what did you do for work there?
Well, considering that I did 20 years, I did everything. I poured concrete. I was 3 different horticulture departments. I did custom furniture. I welded. What else did I do? I was teacher's aide in many different locations. And so,
Teacher's aid. What did you teach?
mostly horticulture because I'm really good at growing things, plants and stuff like that. And I was also a teacher's aide with welding because I learned how to weld in prison. And so I did that, and I built wood furniture and stuff. I worked wood, and see what else did I do in prison? And I made 42 cents an hour.
Wow,
Wow.
Yeah.
that's crazy that they don't pay that low. Wow.
Well, there were better jobs, but I refused to do them because there was so many stipulations and different things that they were doing that was wrong. And they worked you that hard for $2 an hour, and you've got no kind of certificate or anything with it. And it's just, I was kind of stubborn. And I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
The 42 cents an hour was fine with me because you have no expense. I mean, you can buy a little bit of store off of the inmate store. And I didn't gamble. I
At their
refused to
own
gamble.
store?
I seen too many people hurt over gambling. And so I
Wow.
wouldn't do it.
So
So,
each
I guess
like
the
inmates had their little stores like set up in their cells or stuff, and they would sell
No.
things.
No. That's run by the prison. The store is run by the prison.
Oh, I see. Okay, wow. How much were
Yeah.
things in the prison? How much money did some things cost? If you were making 42 cents an hour, it had to be at least doable with what you were making, right?
Nope.
What?
Same price
No,
as you buy today.
sorry. Things
Wow.
in the commissary are like they can be really expensive.
Yeah. Coffee was $7 a jar. And at
Oh,
42 cents an
yeah.
hour, you're looking at $7 for a jar of coffee.
Wow.
Wow.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, okay, did you save all the money you made?
No, because
That's
I,
fair.
No,
I,
it's
I
I was just
I
curious.
hated eating the prison food, and so I had a hot pot, and before that I had what they called a stinger. A stinger was a little coil of wire inside a piece of stainless, and you'd stick it in the water and plug it in the wall, and it would boil the water. And so I would make a lot of my own food whenever I could afford to.
That is crazy. So you're making paper and food out wow.
Well, I made custom jewelry for like 6 years.
And you did that too. Yeah. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
man. You
I
literally
make some very cool jewelry.
I will say you literally are a jack of all trades. I mean,
Yes.
somebody just put that in there, jack of all trades in the little
Yes.
chat. I was
Well,
just about to say that.
And here's the cool thing about it. Because my IQ is 125, I didn't become a jack of all trades, master of none. I become a jack of all trades, and when I mastered that skill, I would move on to another one.
Dang.
Mm.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
That is crazy. I mean, to be able to gain that knowledge and hold it with you, like, it sticks with you. And that's crazy that you continued on with it, and that's cool because now you're doing it with the paper, and that's even I think
Yeah.
that's really hard, in my opinion. Like, I don't think I would ever have the patience to do that. So
Well, that's why I teach people how to make micro machines first, because you can make a micro machine. It, like the little X-wings I got, they're only 26 pieces.
huh. Now, what is good question is what is your goal for this to be?
Which goal?
Oh, that's fair. No, that's fair. So where do you see this going in, let's say, 5-10 years or so? This
5 or 10 years, I would like to have 50 million paper army people around the world making a difference.
50
And
million.
yeah, that's the outer range goal. I've never shot for the moon. I've always shot for Pluto.
That is not wow. That is another good quote. Holy cow. Wow.
When
That is
I went in the Navy I got out of high school in 73 and I joined the Navy. Vietnam was still running. And when I got overseas, I was in the Philippines, stationed there first. And I had an old man that I was hanging out with on the flight line at night because I worked night crew. I didn't like working the day crew. Didn't like the sun personally. And so anyway, I one day he says, "Young man, don't ever stop learning." And I went, "Oh, okay." And because I couldn't read when I got in the Navy and I was working parachutes and flight equipment, everybody's life was in my hand. If I didn't learn how to read, I couldn't pack parachutes. I couldn't do survival equipment, flotation gear. And so I started trying to learn how to read. And thank God for comic books that my mom let me have when I was a kid. I at least had kind of an understanding of what words were. And so I taught myself how to read while I was in the Navy so that I wouldn't ever kill anybody because I didn't know what I was doing. And so I kept learning. And here it is. I'm 68 years old now, and I'm still learning. I'm teaching myself a new hobby that nobody else has but me. And the Paper Army. I can't forget them because they are making stuff now too because of my YouTube page.
crazy. Do you ever think that you would make like going back to that X-wing thing, for example, would you ever make like little kits to sell to the paper army as well so they can make
Yes,
stuff like that?
I'm working on that, but I
Nice.
have to get copyrights and stuff on it
That's fair,
because the
yes.
only place that I can find to make paper doll stuff is China, and I don't want them stealing my stuff.
You make a good point there.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah. I mean, I think, to be honest, somebody that your upper deck guy said to take it to Shark Tank.
Mr. Wonderful
That'd
would
be
have
pretty.
a field day with that idea. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, plus hearing that story, that everything about that, and hearing how you want to just make a difference, and just so would you say you're not really in it for the money, more for just the experience
Oh,
and
no. No. Let's keep this straight. I am in it for the money also.
oh, okay, all right, no, that's fair.
Because here's
All
the
right.
thing. My
That's
family,
amazing.
I've got a daughter, a stepson, and grandchildren, and they are all in miserable shape compared to what they should be because life has kicked them as hard as it kicked me. And so I want, and I can't. Here's the thing: if I don't make money at this, I can't help my friends in the paper army that need help because I can't. I don't have any money. And so, yes, I've geared this whole thing to make money. It's like the hashtag paper army. We're the only people on the planet that have this. This is branding, and I understand that. All right. Here's a little blip. When I was working for a company called Advisor, my boss, Ray, who's dead now, my best friend for 44 years, passed away last year. But anyway, we had this company. He started it called Advisor. It was a little advertising visor that went on your glasses or sunglasses or whatever. And he said he wanted to sell it to mom and pop stores and stuff like that. He'd sell 50 here, 10 here, 100 here, etc. And I told him, I said, tell you what, Ray, I want to go for the Fortune 500. He said, okay. And so every Tuesday morning, I would call the top 35 companies in the Fortune 500. And the reason I called 35 of them was I knew the time zones. I started in the morning. I'd start at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would hit New York. And by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I was at Anaheim with Disney World. And I had reached the top 35 Fortune 500 companies on the phone.
In one day.
In one day.
Holy
I spent
cow.
the whole day calling them. And I had a Rolodex file. And I would catch the switchboard operator, because back then, that was switchboards. There was no cell phones and stuff like that. And the gal at the switchboard, I start talking with her because I'm a country boy. I'm just her friend. I'm calling in to see how she was. I got her name, her cat, what the weather was like, what kind of car she drove. And she'd go, I got to go. I have incoming calls. And I said, I'll hold. And she'd go, what? I said, I'll hold. Oh, okay. I was never dropped. I was put on hold by every one of the Fortune 500 companies at the front desk. Every single one. And I was never dropped, not one time in 35 calls. And I spent 15 minutes talking to each lady at the front desk. And at the end of the call, I told her, I said, I tell you what, Connie, I'm going to call back next Tuesday, same time, and I'd like to speak to the senior buyer secretary. She says, you bet, Michael. And so the next Tuesday, I called the same time frame, and I would visit for like a minute or 2 minutes with the front desk. And then I'd tell her I need to talk to, and I had the gal's name of who the senior buyer secretary was. And I would ask her, can you put me through to Joanna or whoever it was? And they go, yes, hold on. And I was never dropped on any of those calls. And I talked to the senior buyer secretary. Now, I knew that the senior buyer secretary would kill 99.9% of every call going to the senior buyer, because we're talking about the senior buyer of the world with these companies. Okay? So I'd talk to her the same way I talked to the switchboard operator, and I gave her 15 minutes, and I would get her cat's name or her dog's name or kids, all this little important information, and I wrote them all down. But I was still being my friendly self, because that's what I was doing. I wanted her as a friend, not as a business associate. And at the end of that call, I would say, I would like to make an appointment with the senior buyer next Tuesday, and I'll call you then. And she said, Michael, that is fine. Or sometimes they would go, Mr. Novak. That would be great. Thank you very much. The third Tuesday of my phone call spree, I was talking with the senior buyer of the top 35 Fortune 500 companies on my third phone call. It's never been done. I'm the only one that ever did it.
Oh my gosh.
And so when I talk about lots of money, PepsiCo said they'd buy $6 million every 6 months if Sports Illustrated bought. Sports Illustrated said they would buy $500,000 every 6 months if Safeways bought. Rock Burns at Safeways ordered 60,000 pieces on a buyback agreement, and my best friend Ray said no, and we lost the company.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I used to network at the top floor of the Columbia Tower with billionaires. And
Oh
so,
my god.
yeah.
And I
And
thought
so,
my networking was good, but yours is nothing like oh my gosh.
yeah. And
I can't
so
even speak.
I set this up. Here's something else that I set up. I run from prison. I run my mother's stock market account. We went from $1,000 to $1,800,000.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Holy cow.
And so this company right here, the Paper Engineer LLC, I am going to get founder's stock, and I'm going to offer my founder's stock up to people as investment property. That's how I plan on creating capital to make this thing really jump.
Well, I will say this, whoever tuned in today live to the podcast, or whoever listens to this after we put it out, 100% go follow the Paper Engineer on TikTok, subscribe to him on YouTube, to help him any way, shape, or form, because this guy is going places, and he's still so young. He has everything going for him, so we got to keep
Yeah,
it going.
everybody thinks I'm 55.
Gee, nah, I mean, you gotta, I mean, I'm telling you, whoever listens to this, I mean, if you want to do a good deed, give it to this guy, because he
Thank you.
deserves it. I
Thank you.
say that.
Man, I'm still stuck on the stock stuff. Jeez, I thought I did good when I hit GameStop back in like 2020. Jeez, I made $1,000 and like I was like, ooh, man, went from 1,000 to $1,800,000. Oh,
See, I thought I knew how to network, but this guy's talking to billionaires and high-end people, and I'm like, dang, I don't think I'm doing it right.
we are doing something wrong.
Jeez.
No, you're just young, guys
That's
and
fair.
gals.
That's fair.
That's
That's
all.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's it. You're just young. You haven't had the opportunity yet to run into all this cool stuff that you're going to be. But here's the biggest thing I can give you all as information. Never stop learning. Period.
Yeah.
What a great callback. That is a good
Oh.
callback right there. I think that's a fair, good point to stop right there. I think that was that's such a good point.
we've hit the 58-minute mark, so I was just about to ask because we usually go an hour on these things. I was gonna ask if anybody has one last question before we call it a night, because man, this hour went by fast.
Yeah, I think that's crazy.
I do two-hour shows a night and a day on my TikTok, and they go by quick. But I'm cutting that down. I have to spend more time with my family.
Oh, that's totally understandable. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, with that said, does anybody have any last questions?
Crickets.
You
There you go.
There you go. Nice, Kenny.
Wow.
Nice.
Was that Kenny? Was that a voice impression right there?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought that was on your
Let's go,
phone.
Kenny.
Yo,
No.
can you do that again?
Oh, I thought that was a sub. Yeah, please just do that again. Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
I
That's pretty
tease
insane.
some of my dance teachers with this when whenever they give me something too complicated, or one of them's making like a class-wide announcement.
Oh my god.
That's funny.
I'd like to say one last
For
thing.
sure, for sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you guys decide you want to have me back on, it would be an honor to be with you all.
And it would be
We would love that.
biggest
Oh my
honor
gosh.
to have a
Yeah,
legend on the
I think
podcast.
I think we would all love to have you back.
Oh yeah, we'll have you back on for sure another time, without a doubt. I mean, to have a legend join us, it's crazy. I can't even. I don't even know how to. fathom
I
right
still have so many questions about the paper stuff itself.
Right, yeah, I don't think we ever got to that
We didn't
part.
even
I
get
think
too
we were just
deep into
so
the paper
amazed.
stuff. We were just amazed by your life.
I know, just your life in general. So I think the next time that we'll have you on, you could definitely talk more about your paper and crafts and all that stuff and your projects that you're working on and stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah.
James, did I hear you about to ask a final question?
Yeah, okay. So I guess what is what's one skill that you've used throughout like your entire life that you would recommend making sure that everyone knows? Like, because you talk a lot about, always learning and and having these skills. What's one skill you think everyone should have that everyone will use throughout their entire life?
Work hard at whatever it is you're gonna do because it pays off.
That's a good one.
Like that.
Working
That's
hard.
really good.
Pretty solid.
That's pretty solid. I
That's-
can't argue with
I mean,
that one.
wait, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, when your parents tell you that, you're like, oh yeah, work hard. They said, but just something coming from him, it just seems more meaningful. I don't know why. It just seems more. I don't know. It seems like now I want to go out and do something with my life.
Yeah, well, like when your parents tell you to work hard, you're like, yeah, well, you're my parents. I'm your child. Of course you have to work hard. You have me as a child.
Exactly.
It's a lot of work. But when somebody like the paper engineer who's done so much tells you to work hard and can show what he's done, oh, definitely makes me want to work harder.
That can show. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's also because someone else has done it. You're like, oh, it's actually achievable. Like someone has done it. And you
Yeah, it
see the
is.
example.
Exactly. That is a good way to put it, Blair. That's nice.
All right. Well, with that, I think we're just past the hour mark, so we're gonna call it here. But it has been It has been a mind-blowing
I know.
pleasure.
It's been great.
Yeah, I think we can't
Well,
wait.
thank
Yeah,
you, ladies
next
and
time-
gentlemen.
you're so welcome. Thank
Yeah,
you for
thank
joining
you.
us for this time to talk with us about your life and everything. It's like I said, I didn't tell any of them about it, so I'm glad they got to hear it live in person.
Well, that's
for the first-
excellent. Because you know what? You're gonna have something to talk about for a while.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. That is true. So, well,
thank
thank
you
you
very
all
much
for
for
tuning
inviting
in.
me in.
Yes, thank you to our live audience for tuning in, being active, and thank you for all of our listeners out there that will listen to this afterwards. The Paper Army on TikTok, I know you guys are watching. Keep up the great work. Get this man anything. Get this man out there. He deserves
Anything
it.
he wants.
Anything he wants, get him out there.
He
If he
doesn't
wants
have enough.
If he wants 100 General Grievous action figures, get him 100. Get him do it. Go for it.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, man.
Yeah. Well,
You
thank
guys-
you
yeah,
for being on.
Gals
Yes,
have been
we
very
are-
generous, and
No
I
problem.
appreciate it.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you on. It was our honor to bring you on. It's just it's nuts. I don't know. I can't
Thank
even
you.
speak right now. So well, thank you all again for tuning in. Cameron, just I don't know, cut one out.
Alrighty. See y'all next week.